lapha CSC ngiwase kwi SAP storeroom.
If it so happens that within that interval of about 16 hours, there were exhibits that were booked in during that time, it is my responsibility or my duty to take those exhibits from CSC to SAP 13.
Exhibit register iyo SAP 13 ase CSC ama exhibit lawa ngenela asuka register lapho ke kuleyo ncwadi wonke
SAP 13 register exhibit register, the general SAP 13 exhibit register. All of the exhibits that have been received or booked in are booked in that register.
Right. Then mangwathatha ke lawo ma exhibits ngizowasignela la kule register ukuthi ngiyawa receive manje eCSC
now
asesa kweyami position storeroom SAP 13.
When I receive these or when I take these exhibits from CSC, I sign for them, indicating that I am now receiving these exhibits from CSC and will now be registering them in the SAP 13.
authority la ukuthi abuye azo alaphansi ayilungise kahle ibe properly sealed.
I will then report or communicate that with the relief commander and as well as the CSC commander to summon the person that had submitted that evidence or that exhibit back, and so that he can then be able to properly work with that particular exhibit.
So engisho ukuthi azikho impahla esuke CSC ziye ku storeroom lesimine bengisigada ezingekho properly sealed, especially ama-item amancane. Yebo akhona ama-item amakhulu angaka le TV asinayo iplastic efake TV engaka.
What I'm trying to say is there isn't of the exhibits that would be removed from the CSC.
Free yourself from a blocked nose. Try Sinutap Blocked Nose Spray. It gets to work in 2 minutes and lasts up to 10 hours. Sinutap, get your head back.
If I were steel and a concrete, there is no windows. It's only one safe door, which is this thick.
And it is a walk-in safe that is constructed with steel and the concrete as well. And the door, there's no windows. There's just a door that is as thick, a steel door that is as thick as this.
And njengoba ngangi-interested ke ngaleyo SAP13, the keys, I was the only one who handling them. For example, namanje ngisaziphethe ezasebhanyini, njengoba ngila for the past 4 days, akekho umuntu ongenayo lapha. They have to wait for me because I'm the only one who's got the key.
I am the only person that is in possession of that key to the SAP13 safe. I am right here, for an example, and the keys had been in my possession for the past 4 days. There isn't any person that has gotten access into that safe because I'm the only person that is in possession of those keys to the safe.
So, ipamu azehlala kuyo ki-walk-in safe.
Now,
and bese kuba nenye esincane walk-in safe la kuhlala ama other izinto edurayo, ama-ring, amawasha, ama-cell phone, ongelezo zinto. But ipamu, they are only kept zona zodwa.
Now, the firearms are separately kept inside of the walk-in safe. We do have another walk-in safe in which we put other valuables such as the watches, cell phones, rings. However, my emphasis is that firearms are kept in their own safe.
So after ke lokho sengizithekile ngazilabela, we call it ibizwa ukuthi labeling of the exhibits, ziyakhiyelwa ngizithathwe ke zibekwe lapha bese ngiyakhiya ke.
Now after they have been labeled or tagged, we call that labeling. We take them, put them in the safe, we then lock them in there.
So once it's there ke hayi okwami nje sekugada ke ngilindeke ukuthi ubani ozozofuna le exhibit nanokuthi funeka isiwe kuphi phela.
Now once they are in there, mine is to wait for any person that will be looking for that particular exhibit that is stored in there. Where should it be taken to? That's just what I will be waiting for.
And who would normally be looking for those exhibits, the firearms?
Kuyobe kuba ubani ke ozobe efuna lezo ingcenye zobufakazi ama-exhibit la.
Isikhathi esiningi kuba i-IO ezayo for ukufedera investigation yakhe, or maybe into iyafuneka e-court or whatever the reason may be.
Many a times it would be the investigating officer so that they can further their investigation. so has brought an item with SAP number, SAP 13 number, and as well as the OB number is given. The OB stands for the occurrence book.
Yes. And Captain, if I can just ask you, in light of your position as the commander of 13,
ngabe unako ke ama record wala exhibit afaka ku SAP 13.
Yebo akhona enye inkulu yiyo yona le SAP 13.
Yeah, we do have, and one of the main ones, it's this one that I'm having.
yes, exhibit X2, yes.
The exhibit X2.
Yes.
Yes.
Ukuthi le exhibit engene la yini charge yayo.
Now, when we proceed to column number 2 is there for the recording of the station and as well as the case number that is pertinent to that case number as well.
And then 3.1 is the main one. It's the main ukuthi akumele ukuthi uyishiye iblank because yiyo le efaka ama details ukuthi yini le exhibit okhuluma ngayo.
Now, 3.1, it's the main column. This is the column that cannot be left unfilled because it does say what is it in particular that you are registering in or that you are
Umuntu oletha leyo exhibit lapho nanokuthi itholakale kuphi kanjani nanokuthi ine owner na bese yasayina ku 4.3 u 4.4 uthi mina Captain Mtshali imengilethele signature sorry imengilethele exhibit.
Now, column 4 has to do with the name of a person that is bringing the items, whether that item has got the owner, and finally that the person that is bringing that item would then have to sign.
Then ube ku 4.5 a CSC commander or relief commander must una kumele ukuthi asayine I acknowledge ukuthi isise position yakhe kwi CSC safe exhibit.
And 4.5, it is the CSC commander now supposed to sign for that exhibit to confirm that in his safe or in his possession he has received this exhibit. He must sign for it.
And then column number 5 column number 5 ilapho kufuna mina la engisayina khona mangithatha exhibit SCSC ukuthi ngiyayireceive ke manje seyiya kwi position yami store room. Ilapho futhi okufakwa khona ama senior A2 lapha afaka khona ama instruction with a red pen if ungaboni original. All the instructions afakwa.
Receive the exhibit myself, and in this particular column there's also the instructions from our that is brought.
And also EIO uma izo le exhibit isa e ballistic or court or further investigation iyo futhi lapha.
Perhaps he wants this exhibit to be taken to ballistic, or it is an exhibit that is needed in court. It is the same column in which he should sign and explain, give a detailed explanation as to why is he booking that exhibit out.
And noma ke exhibit sihambile for insake ihambile ye ballistic or ye court mayibuya futhi seyibuyela back kumina lapha nafuneke asayine futhi ukuthi ngelanga lokuthi mina exhibit sengibuyisile kuyenzeka ukuthi exhibit ithathwe wena bhuti maribuyise
To sign to indicate that he himself had brought that exhibit back to where he had taken it from initially. Sometimes it does happen that the exhibit is taken by one person but returned by a different person.
but nje lo muntu ozoyibuyisa lo exhibit yena uyasayina la ukuthi ngihandishe back ku SAP store.
Irrespective of the person that is bringing, that person that is bringing it back into the store must sign to say that he is the one that had brought it back into the store. We were busy with column 5.
And then go column 6 ilapho kwemanje sekufuna ukuthi i-exhibit le ekwi-position yethu ekwithina lapha e-store room ufuneke i-dispose ke manje mhlawumbe icase lile or kwenza kodwa nje kufanele dispose, then column 6 ke la isayinisa khona abantu ukuthi ubani othathe lento isekwe mhlambi lo full owner ukuthi uyayisayinela ukuthi ayithathe yakhe, mhlambe istate sibona ngcono si destroy yabhalwa funa la ukuthi lento ithathiwe yasiwe endaweni ukuthi destroyer.
Now, column number 6 has to now deal with the items that was brought to the store, which now has to be disposed of. It could be that the has been closed or has been finalized, and such an item must then be disposed of, or perhaps the owner would want to now book it out. However, this is the column in which such an occurrence is recorded.
So incwadi ke njengoba ngichazile kusuka column 1 ya ku 6 as long nje column 6 engakabhalwa next open like this one, so which kusho ukuthi logo leyo exhibit ikhona is a storeroom ayikanyakazi.
Now pertaining this column number 6, as long as it hasn't been filled, there isn't any signature pertaining a particular exhibit, it means that particular exhibit is still in the storeroom or in the store.
Kungenza lesami storeroom la ngibuya khona kwesami station mhlambe isathathiwe ise Cape Town, kila abantu base Cape Town la kumina isazohlala open kanje, abili bangitshele laba ze Cape Town ukuthi ibile what instruction ukuthi manje kufuneka wenzeni ngayo.
It does not necessarily mean that to say that it is in the storeroom, it is in my immediate storeroom or in the safe that I am in charge of. It may so happen that the item or the exhibit may have been booked out. It is in Cape Town. Those people in Cape Town, they will then have to inform us further what needs to happen with that particular exhibit. But on my side, the column will remain unfilled, indicating it is still within the possession of the SAPS. That's how the book is, sir.
Right. Now, if I can ask you to turn to the second entry there on Exhibit X2 with the serial number 67.
Is there a second entry or the column itself?
Yeah, the first column there with the serial number
Okay.
67.
Okay. La phambi kwami ke la kulo exhibit X2 sine sequence number la which is number 67. If we compare uyabona landela entry before le kuno 66 67 okusho kona ukuthi ayikho enye entry part nendawo esusiwe.
Now on this column here, this is the column for a sequence number as well. You can see that the previous one, or the one above, it's number 66, and this one is 67. That is indicative of the fact that there isn't any entry that was removed between the two entries.
And then you must say ikune date la kusho ukuthi le exhibit le yangena kwa iphi date okusho ukuthi yangena ngo 2015-08 ngezi 10.
Now, there's also an entry there for the date, which indicate when was this exhibit booked in, which is then the 10th of August 2015, according to this entry here.
And then kona lapha ke CSC lento ngithi CSC lento yayisafakwa lapha put. So kwenziwa entry futhi ku OP which is OP 928 of 2015 osho ukuthi cha ngempela lento le ifaki kona CSC.
Now, this item was also booked into CSC, and there is an OB number that is therefore allocated to that particular item. And in this case, we have got an OB number 928/2/2015. Yes.
And then ke bese kuthi lapha ngenzansi kune 13 number ke manje, that is the number for the exhibit is 86/2015.
Now, below that number, the OB number, there's a 13 number, or the SAP 13 number, which is 86/2015.
Captain, if I can ask you to turn to column number 5.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the date there?
Lana, date iti ku column number 5. The first entry column number 5 lapa is 2015-02-10, which is item 0123, received by, I don't know, I cannot read this name. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the witness indicates that the date there is the 10th of 02/2015, and item 01-03 received by, and the witness couldn't read that one.
Okay, no, I've got it right now. This thing happened in 2015, and I was not there 2015.
Yes.
But I can explain what happened.
2015.
So, masingabheka kancane my lord ukuthi mawungala pa 4.5 njengoba bengichazile ukuthi the CSC commander or the relief commander funeka acknowledge ukuthi we receivile i-exhibit. Then ngiyambona la is my colonel now, is Captain Mshwana, who acknowledged at 4.5. Yes. And I can just say yes, 6384449 is service number yakhe and the signature yakhe. Now I can see. Yes. Ushuthi ngalilanga leli uye uCaptain Mshwana waye CS commander or relief commander on that day when this item le ifakwa lapha.
Now on that day, Captain Mshwana may have been the one, is actually the one that had received or acknowledged the receipt of this item, and he signed for it. I can see there is also his work number that is also written down there. So on that day, he could have been the relief commander, yes, and that may have signed for it.
And the date, just repeat the date.
And the date is the same date, that's the 2015-02-10.
Yes.
Uthi idate yona leyo mhla we-10 02/2015.
Now, if I can ask you to then go back to column 1, under that serial number 67 is the date that appears there, correct?
2015. Oh, I know it's not, sir. It's not, sir.
Yes.
The date here is 15/08/10. And then the date here is 2015-02-10.
Right.
I cannot explain this.
So what should be the correct date?
The correct date should be the 10th, the 10th August.
Shote ama date lawa awafani. Ngale kule column
Yes.
Ithi 10 February 2015. Ganti ngapha kule column yokuqala ethi 10 August 2015.
Yes, you've just explained that the date on which the exhibit received is 10 February 2015. What should be the correct date there under column 67?
And it should be the same as this one.
Thank you. And just put that on record.
Yes,
what should be the correct date?
The correct date should be the 2015-02-10.
Shuthi ke ngakule column yokuqala la kubhalwe khona ke i10 August 2015. I-date kuyona ke eqondile yi-10 zika February 2015. Hayi i-10 zika August 2015.
Hayi cha.
Yes.
Lokubhalwe la ngenguphikisi.
Yes.
Whatever that is written here, I cannot dispute it.
Yes, you can proceed, Captain.
And then the next entry, kwaba yilo futhi lolo suku lelange 2015-02-10, lapho Detective Sergeant Masondo ayiphukela out ukuthi uyayithatha lento chaza ukuthi ayikwenzeke kanjalo.
The next entry is that one of the 10th of February 2015. Detective Sergeant Masondo uyena ke owathatha ke lento okanye lengxenye yobufakazi athi uyayikhipha ke manje ngizocacisa ukuthi kwakwenzakalani.
So ama exhibit ngesinye isikhathi ibopha umuntu is an exhibit.
Now the IO arrest a person and then bring an exhibit. This is what
Mhlambe nje sikhulume nje ngesibhamu esitholakale kuyena.
Let us say there's a firearm that was found in the possession of that person.
Uma kuwukuthi uyayiprioritize leyo case uzoyipha into aphinde ngaso leso sikhathi futhi mayiqeda ukuregister everything ne aphinde ayibhuke out futhi ayihambise eballistic.
If he is prioritizing that particular case or that item, he will book the item in, and all the entries would be made pertaining that item that was booked in, and immediately or at the same time, he would book it out again, perhaps for ballistics.
Yes.
Is that what happened in this
Iko
system?
lokho kwenzekile la ayizange isize nje storeroom ukele yagcina CSC yafakwa yabhekwa kwenziwa yonke into and siyahamba futhi ya
This item didn't even come to the storeroom. It went to the CSC, and all the recordings pertaining that items were made. There and then, it was then taken or booked out again.
What is this item under column 3? Just put that on record.
Okay, the items khulunywa ngayo ke la but it's a 1x9mm black pistol. It's a CZ 75 caliber and Iluka. So abantu CZ sometimes babhala Iluka, sometimes babhala CZ. Kodwa la lo muntu usibhale wonke amagama because as ngishilo ekuqaleni nathi mawe record exhibit item yonke into ebhalwe kuyona kufanele kuyifake la.
Now, under that column, black pistol, CZ 75 caliber, and then Iluka. Then he wrote all the details pertaining to that particular items. Other people would just write C75.
Kushuthi ngalesikhathi eyibheka yena lento ngama naked ngamehlwethu la wenyama akayitholanga ukuze serial number yalesibhamu.
Now, also the serial number, it is written here, filed off, which means that when he looked with eyes, he couldn't see the serial number on that particular item.
And then enye into futhi exhibit eyafakwa khona la together kunalento le 3.2 kwakuyi 28 times live rounds.
The other thing that was also recorded here, entered here, that is now 3.2, item 3.2, 28 live rounds. Tike kwafakwa ke kwabhala khona lapho inhlamvu ezo 28.
Then u3.3 futhi kwa mention ukuthi kwaba uyazihlukanisa inhlamvu uyazikhipha ku magazine. That's why a label yona is an empty magazine.
Now further when we get to item 3 or item 3.3, there was an empty firearm magazine. And why was the magazine empty? When you apprehend or you find a person in possession with a firearm, you have to dismantle or pull out the magazine from the firearm and take out the bullets as well. That is why this magazine is labeled empty.
Yes.
And then yes.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, you can continue.
Then kwayisiyabhala kahle impela lo babo wayibhala uMasondo wathi all these items lezi ezingenhla they were sealed in a forensic serial number FSE 385083. This is perfect.
Now this gentleman Masondo then generalized that the items above that have been mentioned above have been sealed with a forensic bag that has got the serial number FSE 385083.
Thank you. Captain, after the explanation that you've given, can we then focus on column 5 that explains as to how this exhibit was dealt with? We can turn to, you've already mentioned that it was booked out by Sergeant Masondo on the 10th of February 2015, immediately after it was booked in. How was it dealt with further?
Njoba ke ngishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi ngayo futhi same date le qeda kuyiregister le exhibit waphinde wayithatha futhi
As I've already indicated that on the very same date that he had booked it in, he booked it out.
And then
Masondo.
on 2015 02 24
Yeah. I've brought it to the attention of my colleague, madam, that before we deal with this evidence, because there's a lot of cut and paste here, we will want to have a view of the original register.
No problem.
Thank you, madam.
The original register is available. Yes, you may proceed.
I'm not so sure, madam, because I indicated to him that before we deal with this evidence, now I realize that we will be proceeding to deal with the evidence, just to compare the originality and the authenticity that is of the information that is contained in these photocopies vis-a-vis what is contained in the original register.
No, fine. Let the witness first give
short
the
adjournment.
evidence as
Yes.
he's being led, and then you've got all the rights to peruse the original documents he was referring to, and thereafter he may be recalled, and then you can cross-examine him. Is that not the procedure?
Excuse me, madam, I couldn't get what you were saying.
Let him give his evidence as he's being led.
Yes.
After he's through, and after you have been accorded the register, the original register, and all those documents from which he is reading from,
Yes, sir.
when adducing the evidence,
Yes.
you study them together with your colleagues. When you are satisfied that you have priced them, then you will be called back to the stand, and you can cross-examine him.
Thank you. Captain, you can continue.
If I were to just interpret what the captain said earlier, that on the 24th of February 2015, these very items referred to, which were put in the forensic bag, were brought back by one Constable Dlamini, and we are referring to items 1 to 3. They were booked back from Ballistic.
And then uzo notice lapha futhi ukuthi kune signature ka Dlamini ne
And also there is Dlamini's signature as well here.
uye wayibuyisa i-exhibit ekuyise Ballistic elethe storeroom station.
He is the person that brought the exhibit from Ballistic to the station, SAP 30.
Njoba ngicazile ekuqaleni ukuthi kuyenzeka ukuthi ithathwe wena but uthola ukuthi umuntu oyiPretoria after 5 weeks or a year would I collect kube uyena o collector, so uyofuna sign.
As I have already indicated that it may have been booked out by myself, and then there is one person that will be going to Pretoria perhaps even after 5 weeks or so, and when they go to Pretoria and upon their return, they will be bringing this item from Ballistics.
And then ngaleso sikhathi ke kwakusebenza omunye umuntu akasekho, was rest in peace. Akasekho lo baba lo wayireceive yena wayifaka esafini.
Now, during that time, there was a different person that was working there. May his soul rest in peace. He is no longer with us. He's the one that had received this item into the safe. Yes.
If I can ask you then to turn over the page. Or maybe just before that. The entry below the date 24 February 2015.
Yebo. Ake makuqeda la njoba bengishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi even nama instructions from our seniors, branch commanders angena la ku column 5.
As I've already explained that some instructions from seniors, like your branch commanders, these are generalized here in this column.
Njengoba sibona idate lapha na ithi 2017 November 10 kwaba ne-instruction eyafakwa la ku-item 3.1 ukuthi lama-item lawa ke manje awadliwe i-state alinoma forfeit igama right ngesiZulu mathi adliwa i-state ahambe futhi ayo-destroy, so nje forfeited to the state and to be destroyed.
And then on the 10th of November 2017, there was an instruction, as indicated earlier, that the superiors would be giving the instructions pertaining these to the state or that it be destroyed.
Procedure, what is it?
If thina ke manje e13 sithola ke manje ukuthi sekune instruction efana nale ukuthi isibhamu leso